Habakkuk, commentary by Richard H. Perry. Habakkuk's prophecies are possibly some of the most important of our time, because the prophecies will help Yahweh's people identify end-time Babylon the Great. There are two declarations in Habakkuk which previous commentators have been unable to understand. The first indicates that Habakkuk's prophecy is about the Babylonians. It says, "I am raising up the Babylonians." This indicates that the prophecy is primarily about the Babylonians. The second statement indicates that the time when the prophecy will be fulfilled. It says, "The revelation awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end, and it will not prove false. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and not delay." These two statements indicate that Habakkuk's prophecy is primarily about the end-time Babylonians. I should point out that virtually all previous commentators concerning Habakkuk have missed that Habakkuk is primarily about the end-time Babylonians. This may be due to the fact that Yahweh's prophetic word has been closed and sealed until now, just as Yahweh foretold. He told Daniel to go your way, because the words are closed and sealed until the time of the end. Habakkuk. In the first chapter of Habakkuk, Yahweh says he's going to do something unbelievable in the time of the end. "Look, all the nations, and watch, and be utterly amazed, for I'm going to do something in your day that you wouldn't believe, even if you were told." Then Yahweh describes what the Babylonians did when the time of the end began. The Babylonians, they sweep across the whole earth and seize dwelling places not their own. They are a feared and dreaded people. They are a law unto themselves. Their horses, armies, are swifter than leopards, fiercer than wolves. Their horsemen come from afar. They fly like a vulture. They come bent on violence. Their hordes advance like a desert wind, and they gather prisoners like sand. They deride kings and scoff at rulers. They laugh at fortified cities and capture them. They sweep past men whose strength is their God. This describes the war on terror. Then Yahweh describes the Babylonians, saying, "The wicked pulls up all of them with hooks. He catches them in his net," their economy. "He gathers them in his dragnet. He also rejoices and is glad. Therefore he sacrifices to his net and burns incense to his dragnet. For it is by his economy that he lives in luxury and enjoys the choicest of foods." This describes Babylon's economy. In chapter 2 indicates when the prophecy will be revealed. Write this down and make it clear, because the revelation awaits the appointed time. It speaks of the end, and it will not prove false. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and not delay. Next, Yahweh describes the leader of the end-time Babylonians. Here's what he says. "See, he's puffed up. His desires are not upright. Indeed, wine betrays him. He is arrogant and never at rest. Because he's greedy and never satisfied, he gathers to himself all the nations and takes captive all the peoples. But then all of them will taunt him with ridicule and scorn." But that's not all. Babylon's creditors will suddenly arise. They'll wake up and make you tremble. Then you will become their victim. Yahweh says why the Babylonians' leader becomes so unpopular and why Babylon's creditors wake up and make her tremble. Yahweh says it's because You have plundered many nations, and the peoples who are left will plunder you. For you have shed men's blood, you destroyed lands and cities and everybody in them. The violence you have done to Lebanon will overwhelm you, and your destruction of animals will terrify you. Habakkuk, chapter 3. In chapter 3, Habakkuk prays a special prayer, asking Yahweh to do what he has done in the past and make known to his people. Here's that prayer. Yahweh, I have heard of your fame. I stand in awe of your deeds. O Yahweh, renew them in our day. In our time, make them known. This may even be Yahweh's answer to the prayer. Yahweh says the earth will be filled with the knowledge of the glory of Yahweh as the waters cover the sea. It's also possible that this will happen when Yahweh wakes up his people at the time as he described in Matthew 25. Yahweh also indicates the Babylonian leader will be severely punished. You crushed the leader of the land of wickedness. You stripped him from head to toe. Yahweh describes things that will happen during the time of the end. Here are a couple of examples of his description. Were you angry with the rivers, O Yahweh? Was your wrath against the streams? Did you rage against the sea when you rode out with your horses? In wrath you strode through the earth, and in anger you thrashed the nations. You came out to deliver your people. Yahweh also gives his people a very important statement about himself, one they must take to heart before it's too late. His ways are eternal. Yahweh doesn't change. There's much more in Habakkuk's prophecy. Read Yahweh's word for yourself to see what he said.